Hello, everybody, and a very good Wednesday. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. I'm sorry. Wednesday afternoon. Um, it's been about a day or so since I last recorded or uploaded, I should say. But I did, as promised, I did record another cover. So I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to that. Please bear in mind, I'm not looking to use YouTube as a way to make an income. I am solely using YouTube as a hobby. And it's not going to hurt my feelings one way or the other if you do or don't watch. I am using YouTube as a hobby and as a way to document my life and at some point my family's life. My daughter will not be on camera unless she wants to be. And the same goes for my husband. He will not be on camera unless he wants to be. But I hope everybody's having a fantastic Wednesday. I'm so sorry. I had the hiccups. What a horrible time to have the hiccups. I hope everyone's having a fantastic Wednesday. I actually have a tidbit of good news. So as everybody knows, I'm a recent college graduate of Ultimate Medical Academy. I graduated on October 21st of 2023, so this past October, literally almost 2 months post-graduation. I graduated in October of 2023 with an associate's degree as a medical administrative assistant. I've gone on, as you all know, I've been putting in several applications and I've gone on several interviews. But had not had any luck finding a job. I actually had an interview scheduled for tomorrow for a billing and coding position at an ambulatory surgery center. However, that is no longer happening because after the second or third time of not hearing anything back from a potential employer after going on an interview, and when I say not hearing anything back, I mean I went on the interview and that's the last time I spoke to or saw this individual. They didn't call me to offer me a job and they didn't call me to let me know that they were going in a different direction as far as candidates go. Excuse me, y'all. My lunch was stuck in my teeth and it hurts. So that has led me to believe that I was faced, blatant discrimination because they had been judging me on my appearance and the way that I walked when I would walk into their establishment and then walking out of their establishment after the interview. However, I am not so much worried about that anymore because as of today, December 13th, 2023, my husband's birthday, in fact, I was contacted by and offered a position with the exact same company that my husband works for. I know. My husband doesn't work in the healthcare industry, and that's not what I went to school to do. But since graduating almost 2 months ago, this is the one company that I have applied with that has called me back and offered me a position. And as I told my advisor when I called her and told her that I was not going to be doing the interview with the ambulatory surgery center tomorrow because I accepted this position, When I apply for work, if I'm applying for more than one position at a time, so I'm putting out multiple applications to different companies, I jump on whatever company contacts me and offers me a job first. That is the job I take. I do not like sitting there twiddling my thumbs, especially when I have a child that I am half responsible for. I say half because my husband is the other half. But especially when I have a child that I'm responsible for caring for, I'm going to take whatever job offer, full-fledged, solid job offer comes in first. I will take it. And there will be opportunities, if later on down the road, say I'm working with this company for however long and I decide, you know what, my desire is to be in the medical field. I got that degree. I want to put it to use. I'm more than welcome to call my advisor back and start searching again. Not a problem. But as far as I think continuing my education, that's not going to happen anytime soon. I want, don't get me wrong, I want that bachelor's degree and I want the master's degree. And maybe I want a doctorate. I don't know. Maybe. But I will work on those later on down the road. Right now, I have years upon years upon years of student loan debt because, like I said, UMA was not the first school that I tried to attend. I've also tried to attend Kaplan University when Kaplan University was a university before it was bought out by Purdue. I tried to attend University of Phoenix was my very first attempt, and that was actually healthcare administration. That I attempted at the complete wrong time. My daughter was 2 months old, so newborn stages, and I'm, attempting to work on... Somebody's been messing with my seat because it is too far back. Okay. So there was that degree that didn't pan out, and then I was going to get my associate's degree in early childhood education and be a preschool teacher. That was the one through Kaplan. I think the University of Phoenix degree was also an associate's, but it wasn't. Like I said, those two schools didn't pan out. And so then in 2018, I had attempted to get a bachelor's degree through Independence University. And mind you, I didn't reach out to this school. They actually reached out to me. They sent me something in the mail that said they had classes starting up soon. These were the degree programs they offered, all that jazz, give us a call, we'll help you get started. And so I did. April 30th, 2018 was my first day of class with them, and I actually stopped attending, I want to say February or March of 2019. It was right after I started working. And this is why I say, to you individuals who might be thinking about, can I hold down a job and focus on being a full-time student as well? It is not easy, and that is why when I made the decision to go back to school in June of 2022 and I chose UMA, I did so knowing that I wasn't going to work, like actively, steadily work to help financially support our family until after I was done with that degree. I didn't want to have to split my focus more so than it was already split. And when I say split my focus, I mean when I was working before, my focus was on what is my daughter doing? And how are my clients or my residents doing? Or how are my customers doing? How are my coworkers doing? Whatever field I was in. So when things were kind of slipping when I was working with Home Instead in 2022, that's when I contacted my boss, because at the time I didn't have any clients that I was going to. Every client that they were sending me to, with the exception of one, I would go for like 1 or 2 shifts, and then the client would contact the company and tell the manager that they didn't think I was a good fit because I was too small statured. The other client that I had through them that I left, I chose to drop her as one of my clients because she was not compliant with her care plan that the company had laid out. By her not being compliant, she was posing not only a danger to herself, but a danger to me. And I didn't want that on the company's head. So I decided to pull back from her. I called the company. I said, this is what she's doing. The company agreed with my decision, and actually, because of her non-compliance, they dropped her as a client. So that is when, because they were having such a hard time finding clients that would actually allow me to do their cares, that is when I just decided I'm going to go back to school. And I stopped working in May of 2018 2022. May of 2022 was the last time that I have actually physically worked a medical field type job. And before school. After school, now there was, I did attempt to do to work while I was in school. I tried going and working with Kohl's in North Carolina. Surprisingly, my grades didn't do too bad there. I think it was because in the back of my mind, my stepmom, and to an extent, sorry, y'all, my ear is kind of popping, so I'm scratching it. My stepmom, and to an extent, my biological dad, were such a stickler for good grades, that I was like, I have to work and I have to keep up these grades. So that's what I dug wholehearted to do. And I was only working part-time at Kohl's. So I was working like 2 to 3 days a week, 4 hours a day, there. But then I was also running and doing Amazon with my husband, and I was doing Instacart with my husband, and then my husband was doing DoorDash. I wasn't doing DoorDash runs with him because I'm like, I need to be home with our daughter at, a little bit during the day. I can't, just leave her to fend for herself. She wasn't 13 at the time. She's only 12. But so there's that. And then when we left North Carolina and we moved down here to Kentucky, for a little bit, I was working, my husband and I actually were working opposite shifts at the same Dollar General store. And I pretty much got fired from there for like a really stupid reason. I won't go into why I was fired from there because it was such a stupid reason. You know what? Screw it. What are they going to do? I'm not one of those people that if I am let go from a job or I quit a job, I'm not going to go back to them and beg them. No. So I was fired from Dollar General because I wouldn't clean their nasty ass bathroom. I wouldn't clean their nasty ass bathroom because they expected me to run register and clean the bathrooms at the end of the night. And the one night that I was there with the manager, It was just me and the manager. So me and one other person. The one night that I was there with the manager, I went to go clean the bathroom, the men's room. In fact, it was the men's room. I went to go clean the men's room, and it was just disgusting. Like, there had been people, asking for the restroom key all shift long, and not one of those customers had come up to me and said, "Hey, your restroom is looking pretty grody." So I had no idea what this restroom looked like until I was going to go clean it at the end of the night. And I unlocked the door, I walked in, and it looked like somebody had lit a firecracker and ran away. That it was that bad. I looked at the manager that I was there with, and I said, "I'm not cleaning that. It's disgusting." And he goes, "So you refuse?" I said, "Yes, I'm refusing to clean this bathroom." And so he turned around and he texted the other manager, and she basically said, "Tell her to clock out and go home." So that was that. I clocked out, I texted my husband, and I left. And then 2 days later, he was done. Because of the same shit. He's like, and we both told her, we're not janitors. We weren't hired on, and I'm sorry, but nowhere in the job description did it say we were going to be, janitors. I've worked retail before, and I was never asked until Dollar General to clean a restroom. I've worked Walmart, I have worked Kohl's, I have worked Walgreens, and at none of those establishments was I ever asked to clean a restroom. And Walgreens is not a very big store. It's just a drugstore. I mean, yes, we have, they have other products aside from, medicines and medical supplies and things like that. But it's just a drugstore. It's not a grocery store. It's not, anything like that. It's just a drugstore. And I was never asked to clean a restroom there. I was never asked to clean a restroom at Walmart. I was never asked to clean a restroom at Kohl's. I was never asked to clean a restroom at Jewel. And Jewel was my very first job. So I left, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need you. And so then, my mother-in-law found a company, or was told about a company that was looking for help, and they're actually called Bright Life Farms, and they're out in Princeton, Kentucky. And I was there for two days. I left because I didn't like the way they did their medication administration policy, for one. I didn't like the way their houses were organized, for two. And it was more or less about the fact that the biggest reason, and honestly, the main reason I left, was because I didn't like the way that they expected medications to be administered to these residents. I remember telling everybody that asks about it that, if the state nurse who certified me to, or delegated me to pass medication, meaning I had to go to a 3-day course, a 3-day class, to learn about the different ways medications are administered, and then how to actually administer the medication and document. And, you're also taught how to properly handle medications. If the nurse who delegated me and basically passed me to administer meds, would have seen how they expected medications to be administered with this company, my licensure, she would have ripped it right then and there, and I wouldn't have been allowed to even touch the medication, let alone administer it. And so I left because I didn't want that on my head. I'd already had it where I had to, call the state on one place that I worked at because of the way they were scheduling like caregivers versus how many residents they had in the home and the types of needs the residents had. I called the state on them because it wasn't safe for anybody, resident or staff. So, and trust me, I'm still trying to figure out how to get this establishment in trouble for what they're doing. Because they're still open and active for business. And then, of course, there was the one that I was let go from without just cause, and actually I sued them for discrimination and ADA violation because that's exactly what they did. But anywho, I was offered a job and accepted it with Solera, so I will be taking care of insurance claims, or FNOL, as my husband calls it. I guess it's first notice of loss. So like if the house caught on fire or something, or there was an auto accident, we're their first contact after, emergency services and things like that. But so that's that. I start January 2nd. It is full time, paying $13.50 an hour. I am actually a customer service representative level 2, so I'm a CSR 2. I go for my drug test tomorrow. Yeah, so that's exciting. So I finally have a job, which means my husband and I can continue, but more so deep dive into actively looking for a place of our own. Because as you know how I feel about where we're living. And yeah, so on the front of my daughter, she's still doing very, very, very well in her school. I actually was just talking to her because I'm now working, and I'll be working from like 8 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon. I have to move her school schedule. She'll be doing her classes, classwork in the afternoon when I'm home and I can help her. Because she's one of those people where like she's auditory, so she has to hear things read to her versus her just sitting there and staring at the screen and being like, what do I do? No, that's not what happens. But so yeah, so her school schedule is just gonna switch a little bit, but that's okay. We can do this, And then so she goes back to the GI doctor on December 20th. And then there is when we will find out the results of her endoscopy. She goes to the GYN on January 4th. So we will continue birth control from there. And then she was supposed to tomorrow have an appointment with a like counselor, but I don't know where I'm supposed to go to take her to this. And the appointment, when they called to confirm it, it was just who she was going to be seeing and what time. It was not the address of where you're supposed to take her. So I have no clue where we're supposed to go, and I can't take her somewhere where we're supposed to go. Give me 1 second. I think I just got a text message, so give me 1 second.